Now, moving on to President Biden addressing the nation on Wednesday, explaining his decision to step aside and, quote, pass the torch to the next generation. As the president gets ready to retire from his post at the Oval Office, it raises a broader question that millions of Americans face every year: how to handle any oncoming pressure to retire. Joining me now to discuss, we've got Yahoo Finance senior columnist Kerry Hannon. Kerry, thanks so much for being here with us. I think it's been interesting to see the president kind of undergo something that so many of, fellow Americans face, certainly people in my family have faced. What does it tell us about any potential pressure that people face for retirement, and what advice would you have for those people who are confronting that pressure?
Yeah, exactly, Madison. Great to be here with you. This is a huge topic, and more Americans are turning 65 this year than ever in history. So this question is going to be coming up for a lot of people. And it really comes down, there's two pieces of it. There's the personal piece of this decision, and there's the financial piece. Now, the personal piece is pretty complicated, and it's no one size fits all for sure. And what it comes down to is self-awareness. It's really being able to look at yourself and be honest and say, what is my motivation for continuing to work? How is my health? What are my goals? These, sort of things. So where am I today? Not where was I 5 years ago, 10 years ago, but where am I right now? And this is really hard for people because they have their identities really caught up in their jobs and who they are. So it's hard to disentangle yourself. And it's the sense of, what am I retiring to, not what I'm retiring from? And a lot of people can't make that jump to think what's ahead for them. And it gets, and the people who don't tap into this self-awareness, this real kind of, we call it getting up on the balcony and looking at yourself from a little bit of a distance. These are the people that tend to push back and be more resistant about retiring. So, I often recommend people, can you find someone that you trust to really talk about these issues, who will be clear with you about what they're seeing in terms of your health and your capabilities. This could be, a therapist, a retirement coach. It could be a good friend, a family member, but do reach out. And if you're at this grappling point, you don't have to make this decision all in a vacuum. Yes, it's your decision, but it really takes doing a little bit of this personal, really self-analysis and self-assessment about, being aware of who you are right now.
Well, Kerry, it's so interesting because there are those who want to stay at work and feel like they're being pushed out, but then there are others who would love to leave, but they feel like they don't have enough financially to support themselves to retire. What is your advice for those individuals who don't have enough money to retire right now, but would love to change that?
Yeah, absolutely, Madison. This is big for many, many people. It's daunting. If you were to retire at 65, potentially you could have 3 decades of life ahead of you, so a runway ahead of you. That are you prepared to pay for those costs of living? So what the best thing to do is, give yourself some space to really look at all of your expenses. What it doesn't have to be down to the exact number, but what are some of the non-negotiable expenses you're going to have moving forward, and what are the ones that are going to be more flexible? Once you get a beat on this sort of thing, you might figure out ways to get lean and mean. Now, secondly, you might just have to buckle down and grit it out. How much longer can you keep working and keep stocking away as much money as possible? I mean, most financial planners say if you can set aside 15% of your income, your contribution combined with an employer contribution that matches yours, if you have that, if you're lucky enough to have that, is good. But in this instance, if you're nearing retirement, hey, go for that 25% if you can. Sock away. Secondly, the third thing, can you push back on Social Security? Don't take it at 62. Try not to take it at your full retirement age if you can. Not everyone can do this, I understand, for many reasons. But if you can push back to age 70, you're going to get the biggest bang for your check moving forward for the rest of your life. And if you think you need to continue, the other big piece, Madison, I'm sorry, is look at your whole wealth picture. Some people get caught up in just that retirement savings account. You might be better off than you think you are, because if you take into your home equity, some other savings, other outside things that you have going for you, you might not be in such bad shape as you think you are if you're just focusing on a retirement account.
Kerry, you always make me feel safer. Thank you so much for joining us. And I know you make our audience feel that way as well. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Madison.